some NBA news out of Chicago. On Monday, the Bulls released guard Jaden Ivey for comments they deemed detrimental to the team after Ivey posted some anti-gay sentiments in a lengthy social media post. Ivey specifically took exception to the NBA's embrace of Pride Month, citing the league's, quote, unrighteousness, end quote. Ivey has been active on social media lately, vocalizing his religious views. Ivey's mother, Niele, is the head women's basketball coach at Notre Dame, right up the road at South Bend. Stephen A., what do you make of the Bulls' decision here to waive Jaden Ivey?
It's perfectly within their right to do so. I've only met Jaden Ivey once or twice. I liked him. I met him when he was drafted. His parents were there, obviously. It's one of those situations, I think, and this is why I wanted to tackle this subject, because I wanted to make a point that's very, very important. People have their different views. And on First Take, especially, as long as I'm here, we're not going to sit up here and ostracize anybody. People are entitled to be conservative. They're entitled to be liberal. They're entitled to be, independent, whatever side of the aisle you lean towards, whatever your religious beliefs or what have you. That's fine. But what's needed in terms of the message that's being conveyed, what's needed to be brought across is that just as I said those individuals have that right, so do the Bulls organization or any organization. They have a right to be picky about who they want representing their brand and their product, as does the NBA. The NBA, the NFL, and various sports leagues pride themselves on being inclusionary. That's the fact. That's the way that it goes. And they don't want to come across as alienating anyone. And when you say things and do things that are antithetical to anything that they represent, then you're going to hear from the brand. And by the way, Jaden Ivey, listen to me, my brother. I work for ESPN, which is owned by Walt Disney. It doesn't mean that I have to parrot Walt Disney's speech or I have to march lockstep in every single thing that we believe as a company. But I do have to be careful about what I say and how I convey my thoughts, my opinions, my beliefs, etc., being mindful and cognizant of a brand that you represent. It applies not just to an employer. It applies not just to a company. It applies not just to a league. It applies to everybody. If Ryan Clark has the Pivot and I have my own show and whatever, and we have advertisers and sponsors, those advertisers and sponsors are going to veer away from us if it comes down to us replicating or disseminating a message that's the antithesis of everything they stand for and what they believe. And I think that Jaden Ivey, what he was doing on Instagram with a string of videos, he took into account what his personal beliefs are, okay? And that's to be respected by some, and it's not going to be respected by others. But where he really, really messed up is that clearly he was giving no thought to the Chicago Bulls as an organization, and dare I say the NBA. And as a result, now his NBA career may be in jeopardy. Why? Because you felt the need to go on Instagram to convey your personal thoughts for what? You just look at people sometimes and you want them to see, look at the big picture. Everybody's not going to vibe with you. Everybody's not going to agree with you, and that's fine. But be careful about disseminating messages, particularly when they're non-inclusionary, and it seems to alienate and ostracize a group of people, not measuring people by the content of their character, but instead labeling a group of people the way that he did. That's unfortunate. I'm not here to engage in condemnation. I don't want Jaden Ivey out of the league. I don't want him to ruin his career. I don't want anything like that for him. I swear I don't. And I'm hoping that he'll be back playing for somebody in the league. All I'm saying is that it's important that he sees, and everybody out there sees, the big picture. You play in the NBA, you play in the NFL, you play in Major League Baseball. This notion that you get to be your own individual brand and you have no one to answer to and you have no one to take into consideration, that is a lie. That is not true. Don't let these people out here that ain't got any damn jobs, that don't have people to answer to, that's hoping to have a shred of the success that you have. Don't let them influence you and get in the way of your business. You could do a lot of things and live your life and be very, very productive courtesy of playing in the NBA with the money that you have the potential to make. But there's a price that comes with that. And sometimes that means being quiet and not feeling compelled to let the world know where you stand on every single issue. He didn't need to do that. It was counterproductive. And the Bulls showed him that by letting him go. And I'm just hopeful that the NBA collectively doesn't follow suit and ostracize this guy. He's young. He made a mistake. I don't even know if he knows he made a mistake. But the point is, regardless of your beliefs or what have you, most people are going to say it's wrong. Some people are going to say it's right. In the end, be careful about what you disseminate because it lives forever and you're held accountable. And why? Because you wanted to vent for 15 minutes? Be smarter than that. There's a bigger picture to take into consideration.
Yeah.
And I don't think he did that here. And that's my issue.
The initial video is 42 minutes long, roughly around there. He's had some similar rants
I
on
didn't see the
social
whole
media in the last couple of weeks. So hopefully he takes some time and figures out what he needs to figure out. Coming up here,
All that Larry Brown did
means a lot to me.
To get him in that
coming to Las
position
Vegas
where he ultimately
said,
ended up winning a championship before Larry Brown went to Detroit and won his championship.
You know, she's rehabbing.
This is what we're talking about here. It means a lot to these guys.
So
it's
I
not
gotta put on
nothing.
a show, man. She's
Excuse
coming
the
out to
double
Las
negative.
Vegas.
It's not
We're having a
nothing.
good time. This is my first
It's
resume.
something. It's
I'm
very,
on cloud
very
nine,
significant.
man. I'm ecstatic.
And Joe
I'm about to put on
Mazzulla
the show,
saying
man.
what he said,
I'm gonna show out like I
I'm
never
sure
showed out
wasn't his
before.
intent.
Well, speaking of
I'm in no way
Cloud
disrespecting
Nine,
the
you
brother
dress
because
like
there's
a
nothing
cloud.
but respect for
That's
him.
right.
Right now,
I'm
listen,
just simply saying,
to go with,
he's
to go
great
with
as
the
a
fur
coach.
and the
You got some
all white,
assistants
that's
on
become
that
your
bench,
staple.
including my boy Sam
What
Cassell
was
that I've
it
known
that
for
led
years.
you to make that choice?
Well, you know, ironically, when I debuted on SmackDown, I put on this white mink coat, and I stepped out and I wanted to make a point to everybody. And it was widely accepted. I interrupted Sami Zayn, and he's hated me ever since. And the next Friday, I put on a new fit, and you know, Triple H told me, he said, "Where's your coat?" And I was thinking to myself, you know, it ain't my coat, it's a coat, you know. Yeah. And I let that slide. Then Bruce Pritchard, he comes over and says, "Where's your coat?" I'm like, "Oh, all right." Michael Hayes, "Where's your coat?" "Oh, I get it now." Yeah. He said, "You know, I never seen Elvis Presley without his coat." You know what I mean? I was like,
Gotcha.
Yeah, I got it. You know, this is my coat. Right. And then I call myself the anointed one. So how more fitting is it than Trick Williams to wear all white every single time you see him? Let's talk about it.
Okay, let's talk about the ladies. Here we go. Your fiance, Lash Legend, has won a women's title since you were both on this show. What would it mean for both you and her to hold titles at the same time?
It mean everything, you know what I mean? Because, you know, we started our journey in the ring together. And, you know, pretty soon we're going to get rings on our finger together because we're getting married pretty soon. So, you know, it's just a beautiful thing to experience this journey with somebody who understands you, understands your background. We SEC athletes, you know, we from the South. We country, man. We country. Yeah. You know, we eat that fried food and we love to talk trash and listen to the Migos and crazy stuff like that. So, you know, I love to see her win in every shape, form, fashion of the word. So,
yeah. Stephen A.
Javon Evans, Femi, you, I mean, black wrestlers in the WWE.